Resolute Support Mission. After more than a decade of war, by 2014, NATO's combat mission in Afghanistan, ISAF, was drawing to a close. But the alliance knew that a complete withdrawal would risk undoing everything that had been fought for. The Taliban remained a looming threat. The Afghan National Defense and Security Forces were still in their infancy, and stability in the region was fragile. To avoid a security vacuum and continue supporting Afghanistan without direct combat, NATO launched the Resolute Support Mission in January 2015. Unlike its predecessor, Resolute Support was not a combat operation. Instead, it was a non-combat mission focused on training, advising, and assisting Afghan security institutions and forces. NATO's role was no longer about fighting the war, but about enabling Afghans to fight their own battles. With personnel drawn from over 40 nations, the mission deployed across key hubs in Afghanistan: Kabul, Mazar-e-Sharif, Herat, Kandahar, and Laghman, where advisors worked side by side with Afghan commanders and government officials. The mission's core objective was to build sustainable, self-sufficient security forces. This meant more than just battlefield tactics. It involved restructuring the Afghan Ministry of Defense and Ministry of Interior, improving logistics systems, reforming intelligence networks, and creating transparent military justice procedures. NATO trainers introduced accountability mechanisms, helped integrate women into the armed forces, and provided strategic leadership mentoring to senior Afghan officers. The challenge was enormous. Corruption was deeply embedded, infrastructure was weak, and the insurgency never relented. But amidst the chaos, there were gains. Afghan forces took over the majority of combat operations. They began planning and executing complex missions on their own. NATO's presence became a safety net, a support structure designed to catch Afghanistan before it could fall too far. As the years passed, the mission faced increasing scrutiny. Political will in Western countries began to fade. Questions emerged. How long could NATO stay? Were the gains sustainable? The U.S. and allies reduced their troop numbers, even as the Taliban regained momentum. The peace talks that began with Taliban representatives were fraught with fragility. Still, Resolute Support endured, adapting and scaling its presence according to the evolving landscape. By 2020, the mission was in its final stages. A U.S.-Taliban agreement had been signed in Doha, paving the way for a complete withdrawal of NATO troops. Despite setbacks, NATO remained committed to ensuring that the transition did not lead to collapse. But history had other plans. In August 2021, as NATO forces rapidly withdrew, the Afghan government crumbled. The Taliban swept through provinces at lightning speed, and Kabul fell without resistance. Critics called it a failure. Supporters argued that NATO did what it could with the tools it had. But one thing was clear. Resolute Support was a symbol of NATO's long-term commitment beyond warfighting, a mission rooted in hope, in the belief that a struggling nation could rise with the right guidance. Whether that hope was misplaced or simply overwhelmed by forces beyond NATO's control remains a debate for historians. The Resolute Support mission ended officially on September 1, 2021. It closed a chapter on NATO's longest-ever engagement and opened new questions about how future missions should be shaped. Its legacy is one of ambition and limitations, of effort and exhaustion. A mission that tried to build peace not through bullets, but through blueprints, an audacious bet on the power of mentorship in a country battered by 4 decades of war.